Hey folks, this is Kelani. With Battle for Azeroth now available for pre-purchase, quite a few of you may be sitting on that free level 110 boost and wondering what class you should use it on, and with the install boost also providing you with easy access to max level characters, who wouldn't want to play some of the best classes in the game right up there with the big boys in Taurus. We're going to be looking at which classes might be the best choice depending on what role you want to fill. If you want to take your new tune tanking, that's probably a different answer than if you just want to wreck everyone's face in with maximum DPS. So let's have a look at what you get with the level 110 boost, as well as some of the best classes to fill each role so everyone can get that boost off of their character screen and into an actual character that's worth the boost. First, let's have a look at what comes with your level 110 character boost. To use your boost, all you have to do is click on the icon next to your character list and you can either create a new character or select from one of your old characters. Any character above level 60 will have their professions boosted up to 700, not a particularly amazing veteran bonus anymore, but still might be useful to some of you. You can see which characters would benefit from this with the green plus. You also need to pick a specialization, which is very important. You will actually receive one artifact weapon automatically when you use a boost, and it's the weapon for the spec you choose here, so choose wisely. After you pick your character to boost, you should be able to log in within a few minutes. Once in game, you'll get the quest to start up Argus, so that's all ready to go, as well as a quest to return to your class hall. Your class hall is only just unlocked, so you will have to start at the very beginning of the quest lines for both Argus and your class hall, which isn't too bad considering you wouldn't have those quests done anyway if you leveled up naturally. Your bags will be replaced with 4 22-slot bags, so quite a bit of free bag space there, and your gear will all be 870 item level. Your artifact will be empty, but you should find 3 870 relics in your bags to bump you all the way up to item level 873 overall. The artifact you get for free also has the first stages fully unlocked, though these days a world quest or two will unlock almost everything else anyways. You're also given a little goodie bag which contains your Dalaran Hearthstone, some tomes to change talents, some food and water, your Flight Master's Whistle, healing potions, the Mana Stone from Suramar, as well as 150 ancient mana to get you started. To top it all off, you're given 500 gold. Don't spend it all at once. From here, you probably want to work your way through the class hall, complete as much of Argus as you can be bothered to, and remember to unlock your other artifacts weapons because you only get the one for free. As a quick note, this 110 boost doesn't give you a Warlords of Draenor garrison like the old boosts used to, but if you create a trial character at level 100 first and then boost that, you will get the level 3 garrison but miss out on the other veteran profession perks. So if you want a garrison, that's what you'd have to do to get it. As for roles, let's start with the most common, the dime a dozen DPS. Right now, one of the best DPS choices you could ask for is a Warlock. It's been a long road getting to this point. Warlock wasn't overly favoured early on in the expansion, but that seems to be the way of the Warlock. Starts out not so great, but scales amazingly well, so it's one of the best DPS in most end of expansion raid tiers. The Affliction spec in particular is doing very well right now. It's probably one of, if not the single best DPS spec in the game at the moment. I guess it also helps that a lot of Taurus encounters are heavily favoured for Affliction, where you can multi-dot to your heart's content. Hounds of Sargeras and Tauren High Command, Ionar, Portal Keeper, the Coven, and Agramar are all great fights for Affliction Warlocks, with Argus being fairly decent as well. That's a crazy amount of bosses in the last raid where you have a huge advantage just by playing an Affliction Warlock. If you can get behind the dot playstyle, you should be laughing at the top of the meters with relative ease. And even if your gear isn't that great, don't worry about being declined from pug groups. Everyone wants at least one Warlock, so even if you're just left to be the summoner for everyone else, it's your ticket to an easy invitation to the party. You're almost an instant invite on Agramar as well, thanks to Banish being an amazing CC for that fight. Just don't mess it up. But Warlocks don't just excel in raid content, they're also great in Mythic Plus. There's even groups of 1 Blooddeath Knight and 4 Warlocks running keys above 20 and blowing them out of the water. Mythic Plus is past 20 without a healer? That's pretty intense. Their huge AoE potential can decimate packs of mobs and you still rock great single target DPS. It'll be very interesting to see what happens next expansion and whether Warlock ends up towards the bottom again, as we once again start at the bottom of our potential power and work our way up to being crazy overpowered again. But if you just want a new toy to play around with for now, which is very powerful in the current PvE environment, I'd say pick up the Warlock and go to town. If you want to change things up a bit and take care of all those DPS standing in the fire instead of standing in the fire yourselves, why not pick up a healer? One of the best healers to boost right now would probably be the Holy Paladin. This one isn't just for this expansion too. Holy Paladins have been a much sought after healer for the past few expansions, and that's typically because they're always a solid pick. Most healing lineups want to have at least one Holy Paladin for their utility and strong single target heals. They make amazing tank healers, but also fantastic spot healers for all those pesky debuffs, which seem all too common in raid encounters these days. What's really interesting about Holy Paladin is that you are sort of like a melee healer, thanks to the way your mastery works. You can chill out close to the tanks and heal them for more, just for being close, but that's not the only thing you can do in melee range of a boss. Holy Paladins can kick out a crazy amount of damage for a healer, especially when they talent specifically for it. If the fights are just too easy for you and the raid isn't keeping you busy enough with the heals, just whap out your hammer or sword or whatever you decided to transmog your weapon to and chip away at the boss's health. Once again, they aren't just strong and sought after for their raid prowess. Holy Paladins are one of the best healers for Mythic Plus. The smaller the group gets, the more you get out of your beacons, which allows you to nearly ignore up to 2 targets and they'll still stay alive through anything the dungeons can throw at you. These guys also literally give their lives to keep everyone alive. Seriously, they use their health as a resource when they cast Light of the Martyr. That's almost as edgy as being a demon hunter. If you love to see big numbers but want to be on the healing side of things, Holy Paladin might just be right up your alley. Now, if you're really up for a challenge and want to skip every queue you can imagine, you could try taking charge of your group's progress by being one of those fabled tanks we hear so much about. They do exist, I've met a few of them myself. If you want to use your boost to join the ranks of these defenders of Azeroth, I'd say go for a druid. You can't really go wrong with a druid in any role, honestly, and if you have a druid you can pick and choose between every role available in the game, including both melee and ranged DPS. But druid tanks are something else this expansion. I'm surprised they've been on top for as long as they have, but if you're rocking a druid tank, you have access to a crazy amount of cooldowns to keep yourself alive and healthy. Seriously, you can mitigate pretty much any type of damage, and you have one of the strongest damage reduction cooldowns on a very lenient recharge rate. Savage Roar also lets you boost the entire group's movement speed significantly for a short period of time, which is invaluable in a lot of raid encounters and is still quite powerful in dungeon environments too. They're very easy to pick up and play as well, so you don't need to worry about figuring out every little nook and cranny of your tank before joining up for a heroic dungeon, and bears also deal an insane amount of damage when you can pull big packs. There's almost nothing to not like about being a druid tank, unless you're not a fan of seeing your gear you're wearing, but those new bear models for Legion are pretty sweet, so I think they more than make up for that. And once again, if you don't want to tank at one point or other, you have every role in the game available to you as a druid, and the role actually doing very well at this point in the game. Going forward, druid is always a safe bet with the amount of options you have, so if you're looking for something new to invest in, druid might be one of the best classes to have on your roster of champions. So there we have it, my top picks for your level 110 boosts would be a Warlock DPS, Paladin healer or Druid tank. What about your top classes? Have you already used your boost on something different? Leave all your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.